And so we're going to move on to our next caller. We've got Angela holding for us from Macon. Hi, Angela.
Hey, Angela.
Hey. Hey, how are you?
Doing good. What's your question for us tonight?
Well, I got I had insurance, full coverage on my car, but the car wasn't in my name. My son bought me the car, but it was in his name, and he gave it to me, and they don't want to pay. He had an accident, and they don't want to pay for the damages of his car, and I was trying to see what could I do about that.
Well, it depends on what are they saying the reason for them not wanting to pay is.
Because he's not he's not on the policy.
Okay. Well, this kind of goes back to kind of what the first caller was talking about. You know, it doesn't. I don't think it matters that if the car's in his name and you're on the policy. It shouldn't matter if you gave him permission to drive the car, or if the car's in his the car's in his name and you're on the policy. If he's the owner of the car, I think he can drive it, and if you've got insurance on it, as long as there's no problem with, again, him being an excluded driver, then they should pay for that. I think that's probably a fight worth having. If they're denying that claim, I think you should talk with an attorney about it, because I think you probably have a good claim to try to get that paid for.
Yeah, absolutely. That's strange that we're seeing two callers with the same kind of issue, because I don't typically see that.
No,
in our practice, when someone's got a permissive use of the vehicle. So.
Yeah, it could be that it could just be something as simple as because he wasn't a named insured, they just might have made an initial denial, and you have to fight that fight. But that is odd that we have two calls like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, these insurance companies are not liking the driver and the insurer not matching up or something along those lines.
Yeah. You know, they have this stuff in their system, and if the names don't match up, then you may get an initial denial, and it might be something you have to fight for, because there's a lot of people who might not fight, and that might not ever, they may get away with it and not be an issue.
I mean, too, it could be, shady insurance companies. If it's one of those high-risk insurance companies, they are doing shadier and shadier things as time progresses.
Their mantra is deny.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, they just start saying stuff and hope that people will go away. So
if you don't fight back, then
make sure you find someone who will fight back.
That's right.
What are some other things that that these customers are fighting about? In terms of what are they fighting about with the insurance companies? We've seen these permissive driver issues, but what else?
We see a lot of people. Well, obviously injury claims. That's usually where the big fights are, is injury, because that's not a black and white number. That's a the standard for that is what a jury would do, the enlightened conscience of a jury. So they fight about injuries. We've heard some people tonight talk about valuations of their property. That's another big fight that I see. What some things that you can think of?
Yeah, valuation of property is a huge thing. And what a lot of people don't realize when they come to us is, they'll be having issues with their property damage, and we typically only handle the injury side of things. And when we can guide you and assist you in coming to evaluation, but what your property is worth better than what we do. And if we start getting involved, we become a glorified middleman, and then it takes even longer. And that's kind of a huge issue that I deal with is time.
Why is it taking so long?
It takes so long. I mean, even on the injury side of things, it takes so long because you have to get through all of your treatment, and then there's, the law says you have 30 days to respond, and then you respond, and then they have 30 days to respond. It just stretches and stretches. So
further down the road.
Yeah, time is a big thing. So if you can kind of maybe consult with someone on handling your property damage before you even go into it, so that you can be more efficient.
All right.
That's something I see.